So I'm having this presentation together with my colleague, Laura Jakola, which is at the University of Tromsø. I've written here in the good old days, and this is things that I remember myself, that when I was a kid in the 70s, I had to go together with my aunts, and it was a big family gathering to pick wild berries every autumn, and it started with the cloudberry, and then it bilberry and lingonberry. So it was actually a job to do, and children had to participate. So this is the tradition for many hundreds of years that wild berries has been picked, and it has actually been an important part of the food source for many people. But it's not like that anymore, but we are still picking berries, but more like a recreational thing, I would say. But it's coming back also as a vital food source because of awareness of nature and sustainable food and local food. As I said earlier, Norway is a quite wild country when it comes to our topography, and it's a lot of forests and mountains. Almost just 5% that is agriculture land or domesticated, and we have a lot of wild berries, but they are not that accessible. Actually just 4 to 5% are picked and used. So I guess everyone knows that the berry picking time is usually the same time when we have a lot of mosquitoes. So that's a big challenge. So it's a challenge with the supply for wild berries. It's a growing demand, but as Rainer showed, it's not been very much development on the picking, so it's still picked by hand in the wild, and it's long distances, so accessibility is low. We don't have that many roads or forest roads or private roads, so it's a big distance between the site of the berries and for instance a storage location. So availability is also a big year-to-year variation in the yield and also the quality. So I will start my presentation to tell what we have been doing to try to identify the hotspots for harvest. So this is a wish, of course, for every man that's interested in berry picking, but most of all for Norwegian industry. So we have been in a project called Wildberry. We have been doing field service and collected a lot of data. And the berry in this project was lingonberry. So this is quite a busy picture, but what we did was that we established plots, and 5 plots in a circle of 250 square meter. That was established on all these places you can see on the Norwegian map. So from the north in Finnmark and all the way to the south. And we had many of these circled areas with plots on each location, and we try to have a variation between the stands so that we could put the variation into our prediction models and also the maps. So here we can see, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but here is one of the stand, and here we have a slope, and so we try to have both slope and flat land, and towards east, west, south, and so on. So the next picture showed one of these 1 square meter plots, and we can see that this is more like a quite mountainous area, and within each of these plots we have counted all the flowers in the beginning of the season, and then counted the berries, and we also picked the berries for quality analysis, but that's another story. So we did this in a period of 4 years, so we have 4 seasons, and then we have looked on this data, which is data from the ground. We have put that together with some other kind of data to develop these maps. So in Norway, we have these national forest resource maps that's been going on for 100 years, that people are visiting specific sites and doing mapping of the forest, and that would be these parameters here as forest age, density, you know, how dense is the canopy. Wild berries needs a lot of light. So then you have tree species, altitude, slope, etc. And we have also, in some of the models, we add climate and so on. So what we wanted to do was to create models, that's mathematical models that we can develop. And first we did a model on the cover, and that one says where we can find the plant all over Norway. So as we know, it doesn't necessarily need to be berries where you have the plants. So we also have created models on the yield, and we have the corresponding maps for both of these models. So we have used also satellite images and soil type maps. So this is quite complicated things, so I will only show this one, which is very logic. So here we have 3 figures. We have here what happens in a spruce forest, in a pine forest, and in a broadleaf forest. And this one stand basal area is increased density of the tree canopy. So this is very logic, and it just confirm what we already know, that number of berries decrease when we have a dense forest. So you can actually have a lot of plants. In some of the plots we had a lot of, like almost a full cover of lingonberry leaves or plants, but very few flowers, and then of course very little berries. So the maps we have made, as I said, this is a ortophoto, like ordinary picture taken from a plane, or that show a specific area. And here we have actually the cover model that have been used to create this map. So here we can see that this is the area where we have most lingonberry cover, and this is where we can expect yield. So we can see that it's not comparable, like put together, it's not exactly the same map. So the reason for this is, of course, also that the yield is dependent about, as I said, the light condition, but also the climate. And we tend to forget that it's actually the climate during all seasons that need to be optimal. So actually I will start with the autumn, because this is the time where you have the production of the flower buds for the next year. So if you have a good weather during the autumn, then you can get a higher number of flower buds, and this kind of set the potential for the next year's harvest. You need to have a quite good snow cover, and it's not very good with periods with very warm weather, because then the plant can start to, or the bud break can start. In the spring it needs to be good conditions for the insects. You need to have a good pollination, and then of course it's the weather during fruit development that's also important to have a good and high yield. So this is a picture showing cloudberry, and it's cloudberry collected from different places in Norway. So I will talk a bit about this later on, but it's this is one from the south of Norway, and here we are moving towards the north, and this is taken in plots here in Tromsø, and we can see that they are very different. And the annual yield among these 4 different clones are really large. So as I said, it's weather conditions. And in cloudberry you have male and female, so it needs to, of course, to be a lot of female to have a good crop. It's the timing of flowering, pollination, water availability, and then of course it's a plant that lives many years, so you also have some cycling of the resources between the top and the root that make the plant cycle a bit between the years when you have a maximum crop. And in order to learn more about this environmental effects on yield and quality and flowering and so on, we are using the climate laboratory in Tromsø, owned by University of Tromsø and NIBIO, and Laura Jakola is the leader of this infrastructure. So with this system combined with our field work, we are able to do very controlled climatic experiment. So it's based in Tromsø, and you can manipulate day length and temperature and day and light quality. This is a very valuable infrastructure for us to add up to what we are doing in the field. Wildberry research at the Climate Lab are based on bilberry, lingonberry, cloudberry, and also we are doing studies on woodland strawberry. And it's clone collections. We are doing what we call common gardens. That means that we have plots that's outside, different places, different locations with different temperature, but using the same plant material. And the focus is, as I've told before, it's the photo period, light intensity, quality, and the temperature effect. And this makes us a very good partner for many national and also international collaborations. And the very nice thing with these wild berries is that you have so much variation in the genetic, and they are adapted to where they come from, so they are excellent plants to study these environmental effects on different plant physiology parameters. So this one is a sum up of different things that Laura and her colleagues are doing in the climate lab. Here you can actually see that this bilberry has a bluish color all through from the skin and within, which make the anthocyanin content in bilberry 4 times higher than this garden blueberry we can see here. So this one I will not go into detail, but it sums up very nicely what Laura is studying. She's studying the what happens from pollination and through the maturation of the bilberry. So here you can see that the coloring is it's getting more and more bluish, and it's a lot of different genes involved, and they are turned on and off by different environmental factors. And you have also they are looking on the sugar metabolism and the softening and the different genes and hormones involved. So this is actually processes that happens in all kind of berry ripening, the sugar metabolism and the berry softening. But it's very, very important for the industry. So what to very quickly sum up, it's higher anthocyanin content in northern latitudes, so they are more blue. Then it's not just the temperature that we have in north, but it's also actually the gene material that comes from northern areas have also higher anthocyanin content than plants from the south. And it's also a specific pattern of anthocyanins that defines a difference between northern and southern clones. So you have more of these delphinidins in the north with lower temperatures. So I think this one I will just mention very quickly because probably run out of time. So just to mention that the main sugars in bilberry are fructose and glucose, and this is a very nice picture. So you can see how the sugars are produced during the different maturation stages, and red light, which we do have more of in the north because of the lower, the sun is a bit lower on the horizon, that slightly increased the sugar level. So maybe the bilberries in the north are sweeter. So a little bit about the semi-cultivation trials. We have been doing that on cloudberry and bilberries. And in cloudberry, we have developed a grower's guide. It's in Norwegian and English. And this knowledge that I mentioned with the environment and genotype interaction is very important also for semi-cultivation. So we have been doing cultivation on peatland for cloudberry and also in the forest for bilberries. So here is from one of the native stands that we did some trials some years ago. So I can mention here with the bilberry, we have tried to fertilize using composted wood chips, like the one you have in like sheep production. So that actually have some effect, but it takes several years before you see an effect on the flowering. But this kind of fertilization will increase the number of flowers in this forest. So with cloudberry, what we have done, we have actually done breeding or selection of plants. So we do have some released varieties, 2 female, 2 males. We have looked on propagation methods, so you can propagate these plants to plant out more of the females. So we are then using the rhizomes to produce small plantlets. We have studied growth rhythm of cloudberry, meaning that we know how much cold treatment, like artificial winter, we can give them in order to get new shots and new flowers. So you can actually in a greenhouse have 2 or even 3 seasons of cloudberry. So we have also given a guide for cultivation in greenhouse. We have studied fruit development and quality, as I mentioned, and also looked on different product development. So with this one, I just wanted to mention that from the different years, like here in 15, 16, 17, you have a very different timing of flowering. So all these are females. It's a mix of females, and here we see that in 2016 it's very early, and then about the same in the 2 other years. And this is very important step to get a good crop, because you need to have pollinating insects, and if you have a semi-cultivation, you also need to have male flowers flowering at the same time. So a bit tricky. Then I will gradually move into the business on wild berries in Norway. So we do have very few receivers of wild berry, as Rainer also mentioned. In Norway, we don't have this developed logistic. We do have some, and most of them are actually businesses that needs the berry for product development. So these ones, they are making juices and shots, and these ones are making syrups and jams. This one is actually just a receiver. And then I want to mention this Store Tamsøy AS, which is in Finnmark. And this is the only private forest mountain land in Finnmark, because you have the Finnmark's law that is valid for the rest of Finnmark. So on this quite small island, it's almost just cloudberries, and it's fertilized by birds. And they have organized picking of wild cloudberry stands. So it's about 40 pickers every year. And what they do is that they can when you pick, you can have one bucket for yourself, and then the rest, like 2 buckets, are for the business. So, and this is a quite common way to organize picking in Norway, that you get some for yourself and the rest you give to the landowner. So these ones are producing like 5 tons cloudberry every year, and they are actually also sending some to Finland and Sweden, I think, for liquor production. But most of it is for the fresh market and for restaurants and so on. So here we have some food and beverage products in Norway. So everything from frozen berries, which is not very high-end product, to local yogurt, which is like a local identity mark, some bread, chocolate containing wild berries. Of course, you have jams, juices, and so on. And here are some smoothie yogurt things. Then you have these health and wellness products with different instant teas and vitamins, soaps. We don't have these bigger companies as you have in Finland, like Lumene, and that are making creams, but it's quite much actually interest into this nutraceutical area. And these med pallet, they are quite large, and they are extracting anthocyanin powder and powder it for the nutraceutical market. So last, I want to mention this very growing business with agrotourism or ecotourism, and many of them are actually offering berry picking as a service. And it's really a lot of tourists now in the north, just all winter, summer, all time of the year. And I believe that this might be the most sustainable commercialization of the wild berries. So with this, I hope I have kept my time. Thanks, and Merry Christmas.